Hey, good evening, guys. It is 10:50 p.m. on Thursday, March 21st. Quick video here just on some risk event coming up tomorrow morning on the Canadian dollar. So we have Canadian inflation is due out tomorrow, and they're expecting basically the core rate to disappoint. So basically, you have two components. You have the headline, which includes everything in their inflation, including energy, and then the core is when they take out the energy component. So because that tends to be more volatile, and so they tend to break it out. Um, and so what you're looking at here is they're expecting 0.6%, which is better than than January, and they're expecting zero point 0.2 for the no, excuse me. This one actually is not even showing the core. So let's just go back to this. Sorry about that. Um, so basically, the analysts are saying that inflation is probably going to continue to slow, and that the consensus for CPI year over year remain unchanged at 1.4%, while the month over month is expected to increase to 0.6, which is what I just showed you. If it comes out below those expectations, then that's going to continue to weigh on the Bank of Canada's rate hike expectations, and I think that you'll see a broad weakness in the CAD. Um, However, if it comes out above, then I think you'll see the CAD strengthen. But in my opinion, that would probably be a selling opportunity if it comes out, a little bit better than expectation. As this mentions here, always keep an eye on oil prices because it's such a huge part of the Canadian economy. So and oil was down today. So if you see oil prices also going into this data being down tomorrow, then that would also suggest more selling in the CAD if the inflation rate comes out, um, uh, worse than expected. So keep an eye on this, guys. I find that Canadian dollar trading during these risk events can be really volatile, where you see like big wicks and spikes, and the big banks and the big traders tend to try to really take out stops. So if you're not already in one of these trades, then I would probably be very cautious about jumping in going into the news and maybe just kind of wait and see. Now, of course, if it's a big miss or it's a big beat, then yeah, you might get it, and you might not get a good fill. But be careful, because what you'll see sometimes especially with the Canadian dollars, you'll see a big spike one direction or the other, and you're like, oh boy, you see a big green candle, you jump in long, and then within minutes, it turns and goes back the other way, or less, sometimes in seconds, because it's just the big banks trying to tap some equity and take out stops, then go the other way. So be cautious. Take a look at how the data comes out, for both the core and the headline, and the month to month and year over year, and see if there's any consensus that they're all kind of pointing in the same direction. And also take a quick look at oil prices too, which you can pull up a chart of oil really on any site. So that's what I would look for. If you're already in a trade, as I am, I'm short the CAD Swiss, and I'm also short the CAD yen too. And you can see my entry here. And I do think this has got a lot more downside potential, but I'm going to be cautious going into this. I'm going to hold this trade overnight, but going into this news tomorrow, depending, I may just exit, take my profit and exit, and then just wait and see. But because this move down could be an ABC, or this could, but I was thinking this is a wave three, that you got a 1, 2, 3, and then we're just going to keep going to the downside here. So that's still what I'm thinking. And the weekly chart is still kind of trading inside of a range, but this is the daily chart, and I do think that this will continue down. And so I'm going to let this ride overnight. I'll take a look at it in the morning before the news comes out, and I may just exit and wait and see what happens. And hey, if I miss out a little bit, then I'm going to lock some profit in for sure ahead of time. And here's my Canadian yen. You can see this one is not moving quite as well. Again, this is the daily chart. but I do have some profit going here. I got in short from here, and it's continuing to go down. And but this is being pushed by some. This isn't going down as aggressively because the yen is a little bit weak right now too. Although I expect the yen to recover, and that will help push this down. So anyways, guys, just something to keep in mind for tomorrow. That kind of rounds out the week. The other thing we have coming out with the CAD at the same time is retail sales. Let's see, is that even talked about in here? I don't even see retail sales in here. Let's see, Forex Live talking about retail sales. So because at the same time, guys, we have retail sales coming out, and let's see what we got here. Sorry, I should have looked at this a little bit sooner. CPI, this is again, mildly lower CPI, covering to 2% by the end of the year. Wait and see mode from the Bank of Canada. Again, here you go. Retail sales should prove slightly more upbeat, although this will be insufficient to make up for the large drag from energy in January. So in other words, what they're saying is even if you get a beat on retail sales, if the CPI numbers fail to improve, then the retail sales is not going to be enough to turn the Canadian higher, which I totally agree with. The CPI is a much more important number than retail sales. Look, if they both come out in the same direction, where retail sales is down and CPI is also down, or if they both come in up, that's going to be a stronger push in either direction for the currency. Okay, but so we do have CPI and retail sales coming out at the same time, 8:30 a.m. New York time tomorrow morning. So again, bottom line, guys, if you're in the CAD trade, be careful going into this, and if you're going to be jumping in, I'd probably, personally, I would take a more conservative approach with the Canadian and wait for the news to come out and give it time to shake out. And look, if it's going to continue down, there'll be plenty of time to get in because these trends are definitely down. So there's a lot of room for this to fall here. So I think if it does go down, you're going to have plenty of time to get in. And if it does kind of pull up a little bit on some good news, I would actually look for a selling opportunity, because I still think in the end it's going to go down. So even if it rallies a little bit, that might be a good time to sell it at that point and just get a better fill. But if it does start going down, then you can either wait for a pullback or jump in. But never good to try to catch a falling knife. So if you get a big bear candle down and you try to jump in, you're not going to get a good fill. So you got to kind of weigh that, and decide whether you're just going to wait for a pullback or if you're just going to, take the bad fill and maybe risk some drawdown for a longer term, good trade. So, all right. So that's it, guys. Keep this one short, but hopefully you get a chance to look at this before the news comes out. All right. So I hope everybody has a terrific night, and good luck trading it tomorrow. And we'll talk to you all soon. Okay, thanks. Make sure you like the channel, like the video, share it, comment. The more activity you get, that I get, the more videos I will make. All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks.